Hey, look, there's somebody taking pictures of our house.
Hello, people taking a picture of the house.
We're trying to record today's video.
Oh well. I guess this goes in the papers.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, greetings from Fairfield. We got mail. Finally got the rest of our parts to do our high-tank toilet. Just took a little longer than expected to get, but which is kind of what delayed last week's video, but it did give us a chance to figure out how we're gonna mount it. So super excited to share that with you in today's video. So, well, without further ado, it's time to take that bathroom to new heights. So let's get this potty party started.
You know, it's funny, I never realized how lopsided this ink was until it came time to remove it. Pretty strange. But it was like the more we worked it here, the more it was more obvious. So, not the easiest to get into. It's the last time it's going to flush until it's up there.
See anything?
Hey, that looks nice. That seal was rusted, or that seal was completely half missing anyway. I'm surprised this wasn't leaking. That rubber boot, this was all that was left. It was cracked hard too. Alright, so the timing for this might be ideal. This just goes on there like so. That's first. You know, I looked at those directions. We're gonna monitor. We're gonna sort of look at those instructions. Where'd I put them? I already glanced these over once, And they're somewhat of a waste of time because they don't, like for example, they tell you to turn the water off to fill the tank. A little backwards. Anyway.
Fasten conversion panel with rubber seal washer to the bolt with mounting bolts, washers, and wing nut lock nuts. Those aren't wing nuts. Place wood cover plate on top conversion panel and secure with cover plate screws. That's pretty much self-explanatory.
So the first thing you got to do when converting, because we're going to use our original bolt here, and they give you this thing. I'm not a big fan of plastic. Although in this case, these bolts are always just rusted out. So it probably makes sense. But see, we don't want that tank here.
That's eye level for you.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I thought they called this a high tank.
Not a medium tank.
No, look, our stud is like right here. That's really close to that. That was the other thing I need to mark for.
Yeah.
We'll let that slide there. Okay, so I got the mark where the stud is. And we need to mark the height where this is going.
And that's not going to tear up the tank?
Hopefully not. If not, she'll have to come back and pay more. Alright, so somewhere in there, I think it's closer to this one. And you want to know how I'm going to figure it out?
How?
My magnetic stud finder that I hacked, the guy over there at Stud Pop didn't like that.
But we love stuff though.
No, we don't. That thing didn't work at all. There we go. See? Right there. Right in there. So that's a pretty good spot. Now that's a high tank. Okay.
Much better.
Which means we're back on track.
Ooh, it's right there.
Yeah, so they would have been pretty close. 62.5, that's where they tell you to mount it. That's not very good. There we go. 7 feet, roughly, 84. I'm assuming we'll need, well, I don't know how much of that pipe goes up into the tank. That flange comes down a little bit. We need to figure that out too. Instructions don't tell you all that stuff.
Let me show you what I came up with on how we're going to do this. Where did I put it? That's behind you. All right. So some of you might remember that. Some of you suggested to keep condensation off the wall between the porcelain tank and the wall. Yeah, you're right. That's basically all it is. And I came up with another solution. I made a mounting plate. Some had some suggestions of doing it on in plywood, and I decided to go with oak because I just had a piece laying around. Much harder, stronger plywood. That's gonna bolt to the center of the wall, and then the tank is gonna bolt right into this with some T-nuts on the back side, so they'll just thread right into the front. We need to figure out where that's going to go, and that's going to be the hard part.
Do you want me to hold something?
No, don't you worry about me. Would you give me a second thought?
Okay, too bad.
It's only what, $400 to replace it if I drop it?
I'm more worried about your skull
Oh.
and your balance and landing here.
Nope, back up.
If I don't help.
All right.
All right, so next, a couple holes in this so we can get our mounting plate up there. And so, to the basement. This one. Yeah. All right, that's it.
So is it gonna work?
That's this one. Of course it's gonna work. I'm doing it.
Look, it's Rich and he's doing stuff.
Rich and he's doing stuff. Alright, should be right there. Alright, so.
You want me to hand you the tank?
No, not ready for the tank yet.
You want me to hand you the drill?
Nope. Not yet.
You want me to hand you a hammer?
Nope. On the bench with a couple of the big washers on them.
Bolts?
Bolts. Alright. Level.
Level. Level.
That's actually really good.
Yay! Gonna work?
Yep. Alright, take that. Alright. Drill.
Oh.
Forceps.
Don't have any.
Ah. And there's the stud.
Yay! You stud.
Alright, take that. Alright, take that. Drill. Alright, there you go.
You don't need to drill any more holes for the tank?
Nope.
All good?
We're a whole good. Ta-da! So exciting. What makes you think I know what I'm doing?
Well, because you do everything else around here, I assume somebody's got to know what's going on.
All right, here's where the fun begins. It's tank time. Styrofoam. All right, now it would actually be better if these holes were in about a half an inch on each side. This is not perfectly flat, so when you pop it up there, it does have a little bit of a curve to it because it got so tight to this outer edge. So you definitely don't want to over tighten this and crack that porcelain. Look, Mom, no hands. Alright, I need at least one boat. I'm not sure which one's going to be easier to do first.
Do you want me to come up there?
And do what?
Hold something.
Hold
Looks like you need
something?
3 arms.
I do. I do need 3 arms. Do you know how much better that would be with 3 arms? Bolt. Oh, you know what I didn't add?
What?
Shoot.
What'd you forget?
There should be, you should see some flat rubber washers up there.
Oh,
Yeah, all right.
so you're gonna take one out?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because of that curvature of the tank.
You need washers on both sides.
Yeah, to give it some cushion. Let me see. And we'll flip it around, and there we got the bolts up. You can see the board as to where it bolted into that, and so the brass rod with the flusher that we still need to change out with that hooks up to the chain. But I needed to hook this up to actually see how it all works, and basically the exact same way. So we just need something on the other side for that. All right. So next step, fill it up with water. They do give you a wooden handle with that. Not a big fan. It's super light. There's a really nice one that I found on eBay coming out of the UK that's porcelain. And so, but that's a couple of weeks out. So in the meantime, we're going to use this temporarily just to test the system and work out any kinks. And then when that gets here, it'll likely be heavier. The reason why that's so light is because, well, if it was heavy, it would constantly be flushing on its own. And so I'm assuming we're going to have some kind of counterweight in there. So when that comes in, we'll switch out that arm and revisit that goofy handle on the side of the tank. But in the meantime, get some water going, and we'll test this out. What's that noise?
It's a warning on my phone. Looks like a tornado warning.
Let's see. What do we got? Uh-oh. That can't be good. Extreme. How exciting. How exciting. You hear that? That's tornado warning. Ooh, scary. Look, say hi, Kira.
Hi. I'm going to the 3rd floor.
Good news, the siren works. Well, that was fun. All right, back to business. And so we are going to turn this on. This is, I'm not a big fan of how this is. This probably varies from application, but I I didn't really get the right parts. I have to mount the this part that holds the tube up here to the wall, and I need a shorter pipe down here. I'm just currently using a flex tube, and I didn't have another adapter, so I need another chrome part from the manufacturer there. And so I don't know. I might need to rework all this, but for testing purposes, before we get this all buttoned in there and well, make sure we don't have any leaks, let's turn on the water. I almost forgot the crown. It's still really windy out there. Ta-da! All right, the moment of truth. There is one thing I don't like, is that gap that you can see the flange on that. There's no cover. That's as far as that goes. So that's kind of goofy. That's kind of goofy. I'm gonna send them an email with a picture of that, because I don't like that. I don't like that, and I don't like that handle. But we'll figure this out. But the moment of truth. Hey, we're leaking. Well, that ain't no good. Ain't no good at all. The heck, man? I told you those instructions were terrible. Not only do the instructions not cover this pipe isn't part of the kit. You got to order this separately, and they didn't give you any extra seals, or there's no even instructions even with that pipe as to what to do about this. And I would think tape or something there would be kind of goofy looking. So I'm gonna have to email them about that too and find out what gives, because that's just those pipes just slip together, and there's nothing on their website about that. So I can't be the only one that's wanted a high tank. So for scale, high tank. So 8 feet up, got 10-foot ceilings. So all right, well, I guess that'll about do it for today's video until we find out what to do about that. In the meantime, how about that cannoli?